Hey, Chris Liepe here with 5 things that every singer can do right now to experience massive improvement. These tips are going to be especially helpful to you if you're into aggressive and extra expressive singing. Find these 5 tips helpful, you'll be able to take your voice to a whole other level by checking out my voice course, Discover Your Voice. It's a 12-week intensive, and you can click the link below to request an invitation. And please be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn those notifications on so that you're made aware of each video that I put up as they come out. Okay, and we're going to be referencing the performance and the track that you heard at the beginning of this video as we unpack these 5 things. So, number 1, spend more time in your head voice. Why? Because you don't often speak in your head voice, and you certainly don't exclusively speak in your head voice. Your head voice, as you work to develop it, is this whole other world. And further developing your head voice will lead you to a healthier mixed voice, and it will also lead you to relying on your chest voice, which ultimately is boring if that's all you have, relying on your chest voice less. There's nothing like your head voice to get yourself out of a rut and start experiencing the true range of dynamics and note freedom that you have. Okay, number 2, pay more attention to your timing. So many times singers are so focused on pitch or grit or performing in a certain way tonally that they forget that really timing is everything. That is such a true thing when it comes to singers. You can be off pitch, you can be really subpar in a lot of different ways. But if your timing is not intentional, and if it's awkwardly off, you end up, it doesn't really matter if you're on pitch. You end up sacrificing a lot of other things that are good about your voice. And I want to go back to the recording that I did at the beginning of this video and show you a line that I intentionally I intentionally went, I made it behind because of the context of the lyrics. Listen after this opening line again. Say hello to sin, hear the sound of my heart breaking. Okay. Say hello to sin is that first part, and I was pretty on time. And then there's this intentional drag. Listen again. Hear the sound of my heart breaking! Now, the sound of my heart breaking. I'm already intense, right? Say hello to sin! Right? When I'm doing that beginning part. And so I needed something else to like squeeze the intensity out even more. That's not going ahead. That's bringing back. It's like I can barely eke out the fact that my heart is breaking. I'm connecting emotion to timing. Be intentional about your timing. It will help you improve your voice and your singing and your performances instantly. All right, number 3, sing more on the tip of your tongue. Sing more on the tip of your tongue. Be conscious of the front of your tongue. Now, this is going to have the side effect of keeping you from swallowing your words. We've all heard at some point that we want to be a forward singer, or that we want to sing in the mask and feel resonance in the front of our face. If we are able to focus on our tongue, it not only will help us pronounce words in a more definitive way, focusing on sounds like I and E as we picture the front of our tongue is going to make it a lot easier to be aggressive. It's going to be a lot easier to channel that stored support energy that we've talked about in other videos without tensing this area. If we are not thinking forward, if we're not thinking on the tip of our tongue, oftentimes in our laziness, we end up focusing on our throat, or we end up focusing on the back of our neck. This is no good, and we burn out, especially when we're trying to sing aggressively. I'm going to solo what I did here. Listen to the ends of the phrases, particularly the aggressive ones. And, well, I guess it's all aggressive here at the end. And picture the front of your tongue while you're listening to what I'm doing, and then try to do it for yourself. Say hello to sin! Hear the sound of my heart breaking, bleeding from within, and now my love is for the taking down. Sin. Sin! 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 Within! Not within! That actually hurts. It's a mindset thing. But as soon as I thought back instead of forward, I started to feel a tickle in my throat. As long as I'm thinking on the tip of my tongue, I can do that all day. Yeah! Picturing my tongue. Number 4, practice using more compression in your middle voice. More compression, more compression. You've heard me talk about this in other videos, and there's lots of videos on it. But if we can start applying it sort of by default, it's not something that we just want to add when we want to be aggressive. If we can add it and practice the feel all the time to some extent, when we want to be aggressive, it's a matter of taking it up a notch as opposed to, oh, I got to add compression, right? It's compression versus hypercompression instead of normal sort of speech singing and compression. So if I take these notes, and I add compression to it, it does sound maybe a little more nasally, which is good in some cases. I am constantly, though, feeling that point of, ooh, I could add more, just a little bit more and get a little breakup. It's an added way to control your voice by always living with compression. It allows you to give the appearance that you're turning on different characteristics of your voice. You know, that's a middle note. If I put the track up, yeah, compressed more, compressed less, but still compressed, right? We can live on the verge of breakup without breaking up, and then we want to access it. That feel is already recognized so that we can call on it instantaneously. We don't have to get in the mood. And number 5 on my in no particular order list of 5 things you can do right now to make your voice better is this. Use more ad-libs. Mumble more. Make more noises while you're doing your performance. This might sound really dumb, but it doesn't sound dumb. It helps you kind of get into whatever vibe of your track. Don't just think about the lines you're singing. Think about the character you're playing. Think about the sound and your voice being part of that wash of the sound. If you've been around my channel and you've seen me do covers, you notice that I do that quite a bit, where even if I'm not singing during a particular part, or there's like a little gap, I'll even go, no. I'll do these sort of noises in between phrases. It keeps me engaged with the mic, and it keeps me in the mindset for music. And there are all sorts of happy, tonal, soundscape types of accidents that happen when I'm doing this. So don't be afraid to ad-lib. Don't be afraid to mumble. Don't be afraid to make squeaky, weird noises in the background. You can always delete them later if you're recording, or you can always take the mic away and make these noises if you don't want people to hear them when you are performing live. Here are the unplanned ad-libs that happened during this little tracking session. It's just a groan, right? Yeah. There's a lot that can happen mentally when you remain engaged over instrumental sections, but this can happen even in the context of gaps in the middle of a chorus or in the middle of a line. In this particular example, there just isn't a lot of gaps there because the vocals are so prominent towards the end. But if we want to experiment with ad-libbing and noises, that's always fun to do too. Roll a track and just kind of have fun seeing what your voice can do in a non-structured way. There's a lot that can be discovered and learned when you're in that always improvising mindset. You never know what you're going to like. And be sure to record yourself often so that you're able to take advantage of some of these things and really internalize them and discover them if you decide that you like them. I hope you've enjoyed these 5 things that every singer can do to improve their voice right now. These are easy. These are all mindset things. Regardless of what style you sing, regardless of really what your goals are, if you employ these things to your own voice, you're going to have great success. Again, if you want to take your voice a huge notch further, click the link below and request an invitation to my course, Discover Your Voice. I look forward to seeing you there.